Hello, welcome to the Kelley Parker YouTube channel where we create tech champions, and in celebration of Fedora 40, I have gone through the process of downloading every single Fedora ISO all the way from Fedora 1 through Fedora 40. I'm going to show you one by one as I install each one of those ISOs in HyperV. I'm going to store all of the disks and ISOs tied to this Fedora 1 through 40 project right here on my D drive. Got my ISOs here. I've got them sorted all the way from 1 through 40. I've got my HyperV disks. They're gonna hang out in this folder right here. So for the first one, let's go ahead and create Fedora 1. Copy the path here. We're gonna store our virtual machine in this location for Fedora 1. We're gonna be using generation 1 for all of the HyperV VMs, so we have consistent results. And I'm gonna assign 1,000, let's actually, 1,024 megabytes of startup memory. And we'll just connect to my default switch and make sure we are still in that correct folder for the location. Size doesn't matter because the disk will expand and take up data as needed. Click next. Install from operating system from a bootable CD-ROM. Click on image file. We're gonna go to our ISOs folder and select FC1. Some of these ISOs will be using the i386 architecture. Most of them use the x86-64 architecture. Just to show you, we're going way back in time trying to grab these initial ISOs. I don't have to go through and disable security boot on a lot of these ISOs because they are good to go as is. So let's go ahead and start up this first ISO here, Fedora 1. And we had graphics. There's our graphics. So this is what the very first Fedora ISO looked like whenever you boot it up. So what we have here is the option to pick between graphical or text mode. Push enter key for graphical mode or Linux text enter for the text-based mode. And let's go ahead and try graphical mode and see how this all looks. Linux Net 4.0 for Linux 2.4 kernel. Man, we're going way back in time. Visa driver, generic. Probing for monitor type RYI 109-B5. I wonder what that was all about. IP protocols. We have a black screen for a little bit. It looks like the graphics here are kind of funky. I'm scrolling down, but it's not looking too good. So let me try to reset this one more time and try to go through the menu. And we have a bunch of mess. Into Fedora Core 1 in text mode. Let's type in Linux text enter. Let's see if we have better luck here. And there we have our menu. Welcome to Fedora Core. This installation process is outlined in detail in the official Fedora Core installation guide available from Red Hat Inc. So let's just go through and select OK. 2003 Fedora Core dropped. Gosh, I was 21 years younger then. Language, pick English. Which model keyboard, US. Which model mouse is attached to this computer? Oh my goodness, there was actually a menu for this. Look how many different options there are. Alps, Glide Point, ASCII, My Mouse, ATI, a bunch of generic mice, 2-button, 3-button, Net Mouse, Net Scroll, Kensington, a bunch of Logitechs. I don't remember ever having to select a mouse on an operating system installer. My goodness, no mouse, Sun Mouse, emulate 3 buttons. I guess people had it rough back in the day when it came to selecting their mice. Let's select OK. We have personal desktop, workstation, server, or custom. Let's go to custom real quick. Let's go to auto partition. Would you like to erase all the data? Yes. Remove all Linux partitions on the system. They used HDA as their block devices back in the day. I haven't ever seen HDA. We'll go ahead and say yes, and we'll go ahead and approve that. Click OK. Use Grub bootloader or no bootloader. We'll use Grub bootloader. Bootloader configuration. A few systems will need to pass special options to the kernel at boot time for the system to function properly. We are not going to do that. We're going to click OK. We can have a Grub password. We're not going to need one. And bootloader configuration. Just got to confirm this. Click OK. Where do you want to install the bootloader? We're going to install on HDA. Click OK. Firewall or no firewall, we will do firewall, customize it. They only had a few options: SSH, Telnet, HTTP, mail, FTP, other ports you can enable, and a comma separated list. I don't know, I'm just gonna type in a few items here. Let's do, I don't know, just a few ports like that. Click OK, and we'll go to OK. Select your languages you wanna have. We'll do English, USA. We'll go and say America, Chicago, and your password. And we'll go ahead and type in our password, reading package information, and we get to pick which packages we want to have. The X Windows system, GNOME desktop environment, KDE, editors, engineering, scientific, graphical internet, text-based internet. Who would want to do text-based internet in 2024? Authoring and publishing, games and entertainment. I'm kind of curious. I'm going to enable actually all of these. It's not going to take up that much space. And notice how I hit the space bar, it automatically goes to the next item on the list, which is kind of cool. Printing support or everything. And notice the difference between all the other items I checked and clicking everything, about 5.25 gigs. So we'll go ahead and select everything. 5 gigs is not gonna be that much. So we're gonna select OK. A complete log of your installation will be in root install log. We'll select OK, because we're using a DVD. I presume all the ISOs are here in this one DVD installer. Transferring install image to the hard drive, preparing RPM transaction. Again, we're talking about an OS that released in 2003. It's kind of interesting looking back because I didn't really play with Linux on a detailed basis until 2021. It's kind of amazing seeing the progress and how the interfaces looked, and having to select the mouse for your computer. I mean, who needs to do that in 2024? No one. So I've never touched Fedora 1 or anything prior to like Fedora 20 until now. And for those of you watching this YouTube video, y'all are gonna be like, y'all might be blown away looking at this. For those of you who've been working with Linux for several decades, this is gonna be a refreshing montage through your Linux life. Mutt, FreeType, MySQL, HTTPD. I like how it gives you a simple interface of the total packages remaining, the amount of the file size, and the time that's taken, and the time completed, time remaining. I actually like that. They need to bring that back in Fedora 40 and beyond, so we kind of get a gauge of how long it's going to take to install certain packages instead of having parentheses and just say, and just like a random time, number, colon, number. Open Office was a thing back then. Nice. The new chess program. I saw a chess program, a multiplayer game. The only thing that's bad about HyperV is that there's no sound unless you're on enhanced mode, which is kind of a bummer, but we're not going to really be playing with sound on this Fedora 1 through 40 project here. Got an AOL chat client. I saw that. Educational edutainment applications for KDE. Development files for building against evolution. Mu messaging for Emacs. Server for network. Open LDAP servers. Open lots of stuff. It's going too fast. Privoxy, privacy enhancing proxy. An entire RPM database for the Red Hat Linux distribution. How large could that database have been back in 2003? It looks like it's going to take just below 9 minutes, maybe a little over 8 minutes for all this to complete. Some fonts, performing post-install configuration. Would you like to create a boot diskette? No, we do not need one. Congratulations, your Fedora core installation is complete. Remove any installation media and push enter to reboot your system. Gladly, let's go to media. Everything is ejected, so we will go ahead and reboot. And there we have a clean interface, Fedora Core or Fedora Core-up. And we're gonna select Fedora Core, loading up our dev HDA block device. Only one fail, but looks like everything's loading up pretty swimmingly. Lots of glitchiness with the monitor. I don't know if this is how it looked like on a regular system way back in the day. And we have a GUI maybe? Are we good? Looks like we are good. We are at a login screen. That's awesome. So we're gonna go log in with root, and there we are. Got our host name here. So it looks like this did not deploy our desktop that we originally intended for. Let's go ahead and reboot. We'll try Fedora Core up and see where this takes us instead. I cannot start the X server. Seems that the pointer device, your mouse is not set up correctly. What? Are you serious? Fedora 1 was so primitive that your GUI won't set up correctly if your mouse is not configured correctly. Like, one of these things is not like the other. Seriously, come on now. Would you like to view the X server output to diagnose the problem? Sure. Prenet failed for input device. Would you like to view the detailed X server output as well? Oh my goodness, just because I selected the wrong mouse. Would you like to try to run the mouse configuration program? You'll need the root password for this. Sure, let's go ahead and reconfigure the mouse. All right, now we can select our mouse again. I did select the wrong mouse in the configuration the first time, so let's go up to what I think is gonna be the correct one. About generic wheel mouse USB. Let's try that one and see what happens. I will try to restart the X server again. My goodness. We've come a long way, and there's a GUI. Root, log me in. That is funny. The GUI was not going to load unless I selected the correct mouse. That's what y'all had to deal with back in the days of Fedora 1. Y'all are kidding me. We have, and the mouse is not quite working. That is fine because we have a GUI. That's all I can honestly ask for. I'll try to reboot this again. We're gonna try and reconfigure this mouse. Generic PS2 wheel mouse. Let's go ahead and configure this. See if we can get a mouse to work so we can scroll on the GUI on Fedora 1. That would be nice. We have a mouse that's working. Okay, I think this might work. We'll click on next, click yes to agree to the license agreement for Fedora Core 1. We're gonna skip some of these steps. User account, we'll do Kelley for username and password. Don't use that password in your environment. Additional CDs, nope. And next to finish setup. Can we get a GUI? Do Kelley again. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a working mouse. Yay! Kelley's home. The simple menu here. Bookmarks, help. Got your help contents here, very Windows-like, telling you how to navigate around your Fedora core. You got all your basic tools. Sound and video, programming, Emacs. You got Vim, Office, like OpenOffice Writer, with all your different headings. Yes, we can actually work on here now. That is so cool. And if we go in the terminal, am I able to ping my home computer? Network is unreachable. I'm not even gonna try to configure the network because that will probably be a rabbit hole I do not want to go down. Your system does not seem to be registered with the Red Hat network. Gosh. Got your Red Hat update agent. I'm not even connected to the network, so I don't see how I'm gonna be able to get on. Devices new, Ethernet connection, ISDN modem token ring. Gosh, haven't seen these in forever. Other Ethernet card, adapter. You have so many different adapters to pick from. That's not even necessary. Like, come on now. IRQs. I've never touched an IRQ in my life. I'm not even gonna try to configure this. I'm just gonna pick the first one. Go forward. Mozilla web browser. That is what the Firefox logo looked like. It looked like Earth with a mouse circling the planet. That is, wow. Mozilla has come a long way with their logos since then. More programming tools. Kbabble. What is Kbabble? Graphics. PDF viewer, scanning the GIMP. Lots of fancy apps here. So yeah, that's what Fedora Core looks like for Fedora 1. Oh my gosh, selecting a mouse and it's got to be exactly correct or the GUI doesn't load. I think I've seen everything now.